70s, 80s, 90s on Boom 97.3. There's Brian Adams. I'm ready. Are you ready for Alan Doyle of Great Big Sea? Hey, Alan's in the control room. How are you, man?
Thanks for having me. That was a wicked song. We were saying just before you faded out there, Brian Adams, Keith Scott, one of the most underestimated guitar players in rock and roll history, man.
There's always a great guitar solo jam on every song almost.
Listen to Run to You, that cool riff at the beginning of Run to You, Brian Adams. So wicked.
You know what I've been listening to? Today, Alan Doyle's brand new CD, So Let Go, hit stores.
Thank you very much.
And boy, the first track, So Let's Go, just, it sets the tone for the whole thing. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that one is a cool summary of what the whole record's about, because lyrically it's kind of about, one of those songs that says, listen, our time is short here, so let's make the most of it. And musically, it's kind of about, a big sort of pop contemporary music wrapped around just one dude with his mandolin. Some fellow from Petty Harbor playing the mandolin and whistling.
Well, we're going to take a break right now, but we're going to come back and play some vinyl. It is Turntable Tuesday, and we were talking earlier.
So excited to do it, man.
Memories of vinyl. Yeah, you grew up with that, too.
Yeah, well, I was born in 1969, so I was, a teenager right at the turn of the 80s, and right when records were giving way to cassette tapes. And I just remember, my uncle, some of the earliest rock and roll music, because my mom and dad had records, but they had singer-songwriter stuff and Celtic stuff. They had the Clancy Brothers, and they had Kenny Rogers, and they had Chris Christopherson and John Denver and that kind of stuff, and which I loved. But my uncles, who were a bit younger across the street, they always had the Average White Band, and then the April Wine, so the earliest sort of rock and roll music I heard, I didn't really hear it on the radio. I heard it from my uncle's records.
Wow. Well, we're going to get into some AC/DC. All right, AC/DC, Back in Black. Turntable Tuesday, Boom 97.3. 25, 30, 40 years from now, you put that song on, and it's just going to kick ass all over again.
Monstrous, man. It's monstrous. I was saying, as it was playing, I was joking, I was like, man, imagine, your singer passes away in your band and everyone's wondering and you put on that record, you're a young kid, in Australia or whatever, and the first note you hear sung by the new guy is the first note of Back in Black.
Yeah.
What an exclamation.
They did not
I am
miss
here
a beat.
And this is my band now. Let's get, it's great. I was a big fan growing up in Petty Harbor in my little fishing town. AC/DC was one of the things that the young kids liked.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that was, I felt like it was kids around our age, even a little bit older than me, when I was 12 or 13, the older guys who were 14 and 15, they had AC/DC and they listened to AC/DC, and it was really the first kind of metal, if I'm allowed to call it metal.
Oh, absolutely.
That I heard was AC/DC, and I loved it. I loved it just struck me as so powerful, coming from a folk music background, where it's all mandolins and accordions and all the power comes from singing and choral singing and that kind of stuff. To hear man, oh
it's
man,
primal.
that
It's
is
primal
stuff, man.
Well, let's talk. We're going to play one more track. Let's talk about, we've got it all set to go, Platinum Blonde. Let's talk about, what track did you pick?
I wanted to play a Platinum Blonde song because Platinum Blonde was one of the first concerts I got to go see on my own. I figure I would have been around 15 or 16 or 17, and at the old Memorial Stadium in downtown St. John's. And they had one record out previous to this, I believe, and I really liked it. And then there was a trio. But they were coming back, and God love him, Kenny McLean, was the new bass player in the band, and they were. I went to see their show, and if I remember correctly, Corey Hart might have been the opening act.
Whoa!
I think.
Double whammy, Corey
I think
Hart,
so.
Platinum Blonde.
But anyway, the show opened, and it was the first show I saw. I think it had a few lasers and a bit of smoke, and I really liked their kind of rock and roll. I loved it because it was different. It was kind of like the Police, but it was kind of like.
Well, weren't they a Police cover band when they started?
Could be, yeah.
They were.
And it was I just liked the way they didn't seem to be any bands around that were like them. They didn't sound like anybody else to me in Canada at the time that I heard on the radio. And then they had a few weird kind of say funky tunes, but then this one was was so great, rock and roll live. And this song that you're about to play opened up that concert. I'll never forget it. They had an intro that was about 2 minutes long. Oh boy, go.
Platinum Blonde. Turntable Tuesday on Boom.